This is Fury with Fury's Insanity. And I didn't see you there. Welcome to the channel. Today we're talking about the game MoonLighter. Today we're talking about MoonLighter. Game on the Xbox Game Pass. Let's get into this. Alright, boys and girls, we're going to get into this pretty fast, make this a quick little video. This is a cute little game, alright? It's a top-down style game. You have the dungeons aspect. You go through dungeons, you kill monsters, obviously. You run a shop, you have equipment, chest, boots, helmet, sword, bows, stuff like that. And the stuff that you collect from the dungeons you can bring back to your shop. You can sell at your shop for money to upgrade your weapons, buy potions, all that good stuff. Also, you can upgrade your shop, which is a pretty fun aspect of the game. As you guys can see, there are 5 different levels of the shop, the one you start off with, and then there's 4 subsequent upgrades. There's also a few upgrades you'll be able to see here shortly that have to do with the chest size in your room. There's upgrades where you go to sleep. Whenever you go to sleep or come to town, you'll get like extra armor every time you do that. So when you go into the dungeon, you'll have like a bonus that lasts for a certain amount of time, or a certain amount of hits damage-wise, stuff like that. There's a register upgrade that gives you more money whenever whenever a customer comes in and buys something. There's also a hot sale box you can buy. Just throw your junk that you don't want anymore away, and then they'll buy it at a lowered price, stuff like that. There's potions. There's a potion maker. You bring them the stuff to make the potion and they'll sell it to you for fairly cheap. Otherwise, you can still buy the same potion from her. It'll just be more expensive. It'll be about double. So what I did is I stocked up on the stuff needed for potions, and I'd come get it whenever I needed to. There's also an armorer that will let you make chest plates and helmets and boots and stuff for you. It's pretty simple, pretty generic stuff. And then the potion lady will enchant them for you. So your armor and your swords and stuff, she'll upgrade them. When it comes to armor, she'll increase the armor that it gives you, so it reduces damage you take. It doesn't increase your health like the armorer does, but she will decrease the damage taken because it increases your armor stats. But with weapons, obviously, she increases your damage. For all 4 of the major dungeons, there are mini bosses for the 1st and 2nd level. I've only got 2 of them here for you guys because they're pretty simple. Also, I recorded probably 7 hours worth of footage, but for some reason I didn't manage to find the 3rd and 4th dungeon mini bosses, so I do apologize for that. At the end of each dungeon, as expected, each dungeon has their own boss. For the most part, I thought these bosses were cool. They looked pretty cool. The animations were nice. All in all, this is a pretty decent game. I sped it up for you guys so you guys will be able to see the individual boss fights. Obviously, this is spoiler related, but I wouldn't necessarily say there's really much of a storyline to this game, so there's not a whole lot to spoil other than knowing what to expect attack-wise, and obviously there's the awe factor of fighting certain bosses and stuff. So I gave you all a good amount of little information. I tried to keep it a little vague because I don't want to spoil too much for the game if you decide to play this naturally or through the Game Pass, whatever the thing may be. I did enjoy playing this game. It was very cool. It was very refreshing. I normally don't like this style of game. For instance, Zelda is a game that does this very well, but I've never been interested in it. I've never been interested in this format very much. But for some reason, this art style got me. This game's not perfect by any means. I'll go ahead and say it does lack a certain amount of content. The only combat content there is in the game is the 4 dungeons and then the final dungeon, which isn't really, it's just a boss fight. So there's no arena, there's no open world traveling, and all of the dungeons, to be completely honest with you, are kind of bland. I don't have a lot of footage of the dungeon layouts in here, but they're very square. Every single room you go into is square other than the boss rooms. The enemies are cool, the items you get are cool, the weapons are pretty cool, but I didn't find myself under any circumstance wanting to use a spear or a longsword. The only weapons that were useful to me was the sword and shield, because you need to be able to block against some of these enemies, otherwise you're just screwed. And the bow gives you almost infinite range. So having a spear is not really useful. You'd be better off having a bow, because you still have to connect with the enemy. That's the purpose of using a bow, so that you can hit them from a distance, or you can get away from them. I mean, I enjoyed the game. If I had to give it a number, I'd probably say a 5. It's definitely worth checking out. It's a good little game to sit back and play. My main concerns with this game are the lack of content. Like, I genuinely had a lot of fun when I started playing it, but once I got to the 3rd dungeon, I'm like, okay, I'm already halfway through the game. I've got 2 more dungeons in the boss level. Okay. I had a little hope to myself. I begged when I was going into the boss room, which is right here, that there would be something else. And it makes it seem like there's going to be. You guys will see it. It makes it seem like there's going to be another level, another world, something else to go towards, and there's not. So I hope that in the future, if they make a MoonLighter 2, whatever it would be called, add an open world aspect. Like, all these dungeons are randomly generated, so it's possible to do infinite. You know? There's a game series that I played all the time called Fate, which is different, for sure. But I'm going to show that game particularly on the channel, and in comparison, it's infinite. Like, it's not necessarily free roam, because you're still in a confined space, but the spaces are big. The areas are always different. They look different. They feel different. The enemies are varied. And obviously they're limited. This is a smaller game. It's only like 1.5 gigabytes, maybe a little bit less than that. So it's not too crazy. It's understandable why it's as small as it is. But I did enjoy playing this game, and I wish there was more. That would make it so much better if there was more content, more things to do. The only things you can do, doing the shop, selling things, and increasing things, making things better is nice and all. But when the only things you can do are go in the dungeon, collect these resources, grind it down until you're strong enough to beat the boss, and come sell the items, every once in a while you'll go buy or upgrade something, but there's no mini games, there's no gladiator arena, there's no free roam, there's no quests other than collect this amount of stuff and bring it back to me. So I enjoy this game. I think the art style is beautiful. It's definitely enjoyable. I do recommend checking it out if you like this style of game. But if you have an opinion on it, or this video, like, let it be known. Like, I'd love for the developer to see this or continue the work, because it is good work. I just wish there was more. So I guess that's a good thing, that I want to play the game more, you know? But yeah, tell me what you think. Check the game out for yourself, and we'll see where it goes. This is Fury with Fury's Insanity, and I will catch you in the next video.
This video was sponsored by Your Mom. If you'd like to find out more information, contact 1-800-YOUR-MOM.